Is it video or what? Is it video or audio?
No, audio.
Okay. All right, then. So let's get the recording going here by me saying, okay, right here. By me saying 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion, everyone. And we are joined, very honored and very pleased to be joined today by Aziz, originally from Gambia, all the way now from Germany. A very, as you like to say over there in Germany, a very good, as you like to say, a very guten Tag to you over there in Germany. And let's get into the whole story of Aziz. Next person, and of course, Latabo, please mute, and we'll get to you at the end. And you'll learn, and Aziz, you'll learn who that is in a minute. Towards the end of the meeting, he's one of our great friends from South Africa who always loves to join us. He's a great friend to Aaron's Opinion, and you're going to love this guy. Anyway, let's really dig into your whole journey in life. As I noticed, you've had a real spiritual journey, growing up in Gambia and then making all these different choices that have had such a fascinating impact on your life. I'll ask only one question to help you to tell your whole life story in the next hour. So really, who is Aziz? Start from the beginning, growing up in Gambia, and then walk towards your music to where you are today. Go.
Oh, greetings. Thank you for having me. My name is Aziz VI. I am a young man from West Africa, Gambia, right now living in Germany. I'm totally visually impaired. I will come into it because first of all, I would like to say thank you for having me, and then thank you to the listeners and then the people that are following your channel. I am so happy to be here. Yeah, just to tell you, Aziz VI is just a simple person, a blind person, totally blind. I lost my sight at the age of 17 through a football accident. From that time up to today, I've been into music, entertaining, educating, sensitizing the people what is all about to be a visual impaired person.
So very fascinating. So let's review some of your early days. So what can you tell us about growing up in Gambia?
Yeah, growing up in Gambia in the village, it was very nice. By that time, I was very young and then playing football. I was very good also in football and well known. Everybody loves me, and then especially my mother and then my brothers and my sisters. They were all there for me, and I was so happy. So it was nice to be in the village and then doing my activities through football with friends, and then the same time going to school.
That's so good. And what can you tell me about the schools there and the schools that you attended in Gambia?
Yeah, first of all, I was in normal school, primary school. By then, I was not blind. But after I lost my sight, this is the time I went to learn how to write the braille a little bit, and then from there, I continue with music.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, you were mentioning to our great friends, and by the way, thank you, King Rocco HD and UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Thanks for putting me in touch. Much appreciated. But like you were explaining a couple nights back, there's not a lot of services in Gambia for people with disabilities and blind people. There's not a whole lot. If you're sighted, you can go through schooling pretty good, but there's not a whole lot of services. So when you first became blind in Gambia, talk to me about that. What is that? That must be really strange because, by the way, I was born blind with glaucoma. So tell me about this football accident and how you became blind in the first place.
Yeah, I was playing into a tournament whereby the whole villages will come and then play. And then this is the time I was a very good striker. Then when I hit this ball on my head to score the ball, that's the time I have this problem on my head. When I have the problem, I was admitted to the hospital, Royal Victoria Teaching Hospital for 4 months. That's the time I discovered that I have get lost my sight through this problem. And then from there, it was very difficult for me to believe in that. But after the hospital released me, then when I come back home, it was a tough time because of when my friends come to visit me and then they go and then they leave me there without me going with them. It was very tough for me to believe in that. So all what I was thinking of is to, to kill myself because of I was not used to it. So the problem was like that, and then my mother was used to. My mother is always convincing me, look, you can make it, don't worry. And then it was very tough for me to believe in it. But after later, then I realized, when one door is closed, another one will open. And also when it comes to the facilities in the Gambia, by then it was very difficult because of the people there that are helping the blind people. They only depend on philanthropists. And those philanthropists that are coming from the West, they are the one who is bringing sometimes braille machines and then some braille papers, because a braille machine is very expensive for them to buy. They cannot buy it. And these braille papers are also very tough to have. So to educate the blind children in that country will be very difficult. But at this moment, I realize it is a little bit changing because people are aware now what it is all about to be a visually impaired person.
Right. Yeah, this is a significant problem, and I've spoken to another Gambian many years back, Lamin Jawla. I had him on my show too. Do you know? I'm sure you've heard of Blind Radio Network, Blind Radio Gambia. I'm sure you've heard of that from this other Gambian that's been on my show before. He's a journalist from Gambia who's blind, and he has a whole radio station. So he's been on my show before, and he was explaining that to me, that the services are very, very, very limited. And then how did you come to decide that you needed to go to Germany? And how did you make that decision? I mean, that's a huge change and a huge decision.
Yeah, the thing is, to say about Lamin Jallo, I have never met him. This is my first time even hearing about him. And I'm so happy to hear that he's also doing his thing on a radio station. This is very, very, very beautiful to hear. For my journey about me traveling as a visually impaired person, is to show the world that being a visually impaired person doesn't mean that you have to sit down in one place. Through music, I've been to a lot of places, and then still I'm thinking of to go more, because I think so in my life still yet I did not reach where I wanted to go. Because of the thing is, we have to let the people know that disability does not mean inability. We have to travel and then to educate ourselves through traveling, to educate our fellow people who are in other countries that we are going to unite with our visually impaired people who are living in other countries. Coming into Germany, it is very educated for me, because since I come here, I've met a lot of things, I've learned a lot of things, and I'm still learning.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And, it's also hard because then you have to learn a new language. You have to be able to speak, you have to be able to speak German all the time now when you go out in public and things like that. So, yeah. And for me, I'm a French speaker now. Now I had to learn French, so I can speak French now, but I understand how hard that must be to have to learn a whole new language and a whole new way of interacting with people and things like that. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
French is the thing is in Gambia, normally we have French in school, in the curriculum, but I was never interested of learning French. But I have a little bit that I can suspect in French. I can say hello to people, ça va bien, merci. I can say all those stuff. But when it comes to German, I'm learning the language, because in German you have to learn stage 1, stage 2. Right now I have completed the stage 1, going into the stage 2. But it is very tough to learn a new language.
Sure. Especially German, and especially living in a country where the standards are extraordinarily high, Oh yeah. That's good. Yes.
The most difficult thing of the language is the grammar. The grammatic of the Dutch is very tough.
Yeah. Well, it's nothing like the language. It's nothing like the languages that you grew up speaking. So of course that's super difficult. But also that's really encouraging. You're a huge sense of encouragement, because it's proof that when people have an idea or have a dream or have a goal, it's attainable. I mean, that's the epitome of that you're able to do things, and it's so great. So let's really get into the music. That's something that you're very, very passionate about. So when and how did you discover your musical gift?
Yeah, music, it comes to me when I lost my sight newly. When I come back home, my mother was trying to comfort me, to let me know that I can also do it, instead of, thinking of other things to kill myself or to end my life because of blindness. And one time I realized, okay, I want to have a radio. Then my mother buy me a small radio. From this radio, I started listening to radio. And then one time there was a man who was working in one of the radio stations called Radio 1 in Gambia, Radio 1 FM. It's an old time radio. And then I call him, I tell him, look, I want to do music. He said to me, how can you do music? How can a blind person do music? I said to him, look, I need the mic. I need the mic. He said to me, okay, no problem. One time, and then in the school where I was learning, I was having a program, and then he invited me. By then I was having a cassette, this normal cassette, not CD even. I gave him this cassette. I said, look, I played this cassette for me. He said to me, oh, okay. He used the cassette. Then I started singing. Then from that day up to today, I'm doing music.
That's so good, man. That's so awesome. Now, you know that I love to talk about languages. So, of course, did you first start singing in Mandinke, or did you start singing in English, or what languages can you sing in? And really, start giving me some verses here. I really want to hear your beautiful voice in your native language singing for me a little bit here. So go ahead and explain some stuff and sing for me. Yeah.
The thing is, I'm speaking 4-5 native languages in the Gambia because of me. Originally, I'm a Fula. I speak Fula and I speak Mandinka. I speak Wolof and I speak a little bit of Serer and then Jola, and then plus English and then the other languages. So when I'm singing, I'm always singing both sides. I always try to involve English and then Mandinka, sometimes English and Wolof, sometimes English and Fula, to let the people know what I am saying, both sides. So this is what I'm always doing, because of in our communities, most of the people, when you become a visual impaired person, all what they're thinking is for you to be in the street begging and then all those stuff. But doing music, going all radio stations, TV stations, to let the people know that, yeah, we can do it. So give us a courage, give us a space to do our thing. I've been doing that for almost 2 to 3 years, struggling with this, and then luckily I happen to be known in this thing that I was doing in the country.
That's good, man. That's so good. So do you want to sing a little bit and illustrate some of these different languages that you can sing in, and illustrate some beautiful music for me a little bit?
Okay, I have one of the songs that I recorded. It's one of the biggest songs that I have in the Gambia, and everybody knows this song. It's called Ntolman Lafi Kelola, means we don't need war. And then in Mandinka, the chorus, and then in the verse English, I go like, Ntolman Lafi Kelola, Africa kono, Ntolman Lafi Kelola, Africa kono, Ntolman Lafi Kelola, Africa kono, Ntolman Lafi Kelola, Africa kono. The children are dying, the women are crying, nobody cares about them. If you look into it, too much of suffering, and women's wherever they are, children must be there. Tolman lafi kelola, Africa kono, tolman lafi yarabola, Africa kono, tolman lafi kel. Yo.
That's so beautiful. I just love that music. I just love that. I love the way that language sounds, and I just that is so musical and so soothing sounding. It's so beautiful and also so strong. There's such a matter of fact and deep strength behind those words. That is so beautiful. Yeah.
This is the reason why I even sing this song, is to let the people know that, when we fight, where are the visual impaired going to? How can they escape? How can they escape this fight?
Right.
It is not good to fight. So let's stop the fight, live together as one people. So visual impaired, differently able people, many of them are there. They have nowhere to run. When we fight, what are they going to do? They are the victims. So let's give them a chance to survive whatever is in them.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're so right that people with disabilities are obviously objectively tremendously affected by poverty and war and conflict. But then again, everyone is affected. If there's a conflict, everyone suffers. So that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's the thing that I'm saying. So look, when the problem come today, I am not seeing. Do I know where I'm running to? When the problem come, I don't have a leg to run. How will I run? Where am I going to? But the one that are seeing, that are fighting, they can run and escape. You understand?
Right.
So this is the reason why I sing this song, for people to unite as one people, no matter what you are, color or race. We are all one people. So live together as one.
Definitely. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Let's go back and let's focus on something else very interesting, is that when you came to Germany, I understand that you went to a music school. So what can you tell me about this big school that you got into in Germany to begin with?
In Germany, I was not in a music school. I'm not in a
Oh.
music school. I'm in a language school.
Oh, okay. For some reason, when I was listening to you a couple nights back on UVC radio, it sounded like it was a music school that you were in
Yeah, maybe
Germany.
it's misunderstanding, but it's not
Okay.
it's not a music school. When you come here newly, you have to learn the language. You have to be integrated. So at this moment, I'm in a school whereby you have to learn the language. From the language, then you have to learn a skill. Then from the skill, you have to do a work.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, what is your opinion of the German way of life and the way that Germans do things? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it is. As long as you have peace wherever you are, it's good to be with the people peacefully. So I love it because of people are, they respect what I'm doing, and I also respect what they're doing. So we're going side by side. I love their cultures, and they will also love my culture. But if you hate their culture, they will not love your culture. So at this moment, I thank God for everything that I'm having in this country.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so good. Yeah. And now what do you think of the German food? Eating schnitzel and things like that all the time. What do you think of all those great German dishes?
No,
Yeah.
the thing is, I have my own food I'm cooking for myself, and my wife is also cooking. We are cooking our own foods because of not all the time we go to them, but they are cooking their food. Sometimes I eat their noodles and all those salads and all those stuff, but I'm always eating my own food.
That's yeah. Most people would, and that's very understandable. You grow up eating one thing, that's the diet you get used to over your life. So I mean, everybody does that. That's very, very understandable. Yeah. But still to this very day, Aziz, what is your favorite German dish that you've learned to love, or your favorite German treat that you love to eat?
That is the how to say it again. They are fruit salad. Sometimes I like eating that.
I
Fruit
see.
salad.
I see. That's good. That's very, very delicious. Yeah. So good. Yeah. And then what do you think of eating the meat that they eat in Germany, all the different meat dishes that they have? What's your opinion of that?
For the meat, sometimes I'm not that much eating meat because of my favorite meat is the chickens. I'm eating chicken than other meats, and that one also I'm cooking it by myself.
Right. Yeah. No, chicken. We eat way too much chicken. I've eaten enough chicken in my life where I could sustain myself for the rest of my existence without eating another bite of chicken. I'm sure I'll make it. I'm sure I can live the rest of my life without a bite of chicken. I've eaten chicken for 30 years.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm eating here also.
I see. So good. So, now that you're performing in Germany, and now that you have this whole, German lifestyle, how, are you starting to, build up your music business? What have you learned, by the way, about the music business in Germany? How does that work?
Yeah, it is. At the beginning, it was a little bit tough because of when you come to a new place and then new actions, new movements, you have to take your time to walk with them. And walking with them, this is what I was doing right now. I'm working with a brother called Z-Man. He has a production called Kairava Production. This is where I am working right now with him, and then I'm working on an EP with him with a German band called Oneness Record. Record. So I'm working with them right now, and then also I normally play some shows, and I happened to early last year I was in a competition for the blind here also in Berlin, which I happened to be number 5 out of 16 artists.
Wow.
I was 5 out of that 16.
Unbelievable. That's amazing.
When I see the people voting for me and then say, oh, we like what he is doing, and then I say, okay, I've been here newly, and then I happen to be number 5 then if I do more, I will be in the number one. So why not? At this moment, this is what I'm working on to see that I achieve that, because my dream is to be in the World Blind Music Festival, to showcase my talent, to let my African people know that we are also capable of doing things globally.
Absolutely. That's so good. That's so good. And now this festival where you were ranked, number 5 out of 16, what did you learn about the other blind musicians? Were they other people were there some other Germans or other people from other countries living in Germany like you? Like what would you say were the demographic of that?
These people, it was in the Corona time. They are not living in Germany. They are in Europe. They are all in Europe. So Europe countries, not only Germany. I am from Africa, but I was the only one from Africa in that competition. There were 16 artists from different European countries, and then I happened to be number 5. But we never meet. We submit our songs. We submit the songs to Berlin, and then the people who are the organizers, they arrange everything, and then they put the voting list. So people have to vote for the artists to stay in this line. So luckily, I happened to be number 5 from the voting.
Wow. And in addition to the prestige of being number 5, like, is there some sort of award that you would get out of this festival, or some sort of connection that you can make, or what is the, what is the prize from this festival, would you say?
I have a certificate. I have a certificate from this competition, and I also have a check to go any shop, a blind shop, whereby I can have a watch or something else like that. I have that. Yeah.
Interesting. So you can go to any store that's owned by a blind person and buy things. That's
exactly.
That's interesting. So are there a lot of blind shopkeepers then in Germany? Is that a common thing in Germany?
They have shops whereby they are selling this talking watch and then stuff that blind people need. They have it, and then there are many shops. There are many shops. So this was the thing,
Definitely. That is really good. Yeah, really good to know that. Yeah. All extremely interesting. So yeah, what technology do you use now to do your music and to record your songs?
My songs, I'm going to the studio, and then the studio is playing live band. It's a live instrumental studio whereby they are playing the guitar, playing the keyboard, playing all stuff that you need for a song. And then the producers are also there. The one who is mixing my songs is called Lamin, and he's also there in Munchen. So I have only a mobile whereby when inspiration come into my head, I record it down and keep it in my phone. But I'm recording with a band.
That is so impressive. How did you? I mean, that's really impressive, Aziz. Because I mean, in the States, I mean, where I'm from, you would be very lucky to get a live band. That's only reserved for the top people in the industry. I mean, that would be very hard to arrange. So how did you come? How did you come to arrange that? Yeah.
The thing is, when I visited Munchen one time, I visited Lamin. He has a studio. When I visited him, he said to me, "Look, we have a band here. I wanted to take you to this band." I said, "Okay, no problem." When we visited the studio, and then these people, they are all in their 50s. They are older than me, and I was the youngest. And then when I come, okay, he said to me, "Look, we want to hear your voice." Okay, then I started singing my song. There's a song that I created for the differently able people in my country called Lanjur Tool. Then when I sing this song, the main man in the studio, he said to me, "Look, come on, we can do this, man." Then they started playing the guitar. From the guitar, the drum set, and all those stuff, then the song was big. And right now, I have already created 3 to 4 songs with that studio at this moment.
Wow. That's an incredible honor to have that support. Yeah. So I think now, was this other city you mentioned, because you said it, which is good that you said it in German. In English, is that the city that we call Munich?
Munich, yeah, Munich.
Yeah, Munich. Okay. Munich. Munich. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but that's really interesting. So it sounds like you've also done a lot of traveling around Germany. So what can you tell me from your perspective about traveling around Germany?
In Germany, it is very beautiful. For me, it is not that much difficult, because of whenever I wanted to go to a city or to bigger cities, you always have a place whereby you can call and connect to the people in the Bahnhof, in the train station. Somebody will be there waiting for you to connect you to another train. So it's very easy in Germany, and then they are helpful also. So I'm going. I'm not sitting in one place because of I'm like that. I don't want to sit in one place.
That's very good. So you're noticing the German efficiency, and you're noticing that they're able to get you from point A to B in the station and helping you to find the next platform and to make sure it's the train going in the right direction. And
Exactly.
yeah, I exactly I know exactly about that, because in France that's how the trains are. You have to get to the you have to get to the platform at the right time. Then you have to stand on the right side of the platform at the right time. Then you have to get on the train at the right platform at the right time that's going in the right direction.
Exactly.
It's tricky. It's very visual. And I mean, sighted people get on the wrong train all the time. I mean, I've seen it in France where someone gets on a train, they sit there for one stop, and then by the time the doors open at the next stop, they run out of the train really fast. all the time, people. I mean, if you ever get on the wrong train in the wrong direction, like, don't be embarrassed about it. Everybody does it. I mean, it's very confusing.
Yeah, this is it. But they are very patient also. When you come and then you miss the train, they will help you to join another train to go where you want to go. But it's always normal as a traveler.
I quite frankly, I don't think it's about you being blind. I think that in those stations, they're so used to people being confused and missing trains and missing connections. They're so used to it that they are just very willing to work with that. In France, there's a whole company that controls the whole French train system, and they have the trains, spaced out at certain intervals because they have figured out how long it takes someone to walk through all the stations. They have it all calculated, but still there's problems. And then luckily, I don't think you have to deal with this in Germany, but in France, there are a lot of strikes where the train drivers don't want to drive the train, and then they strike, and then you can't get on a train, and that's always a thing. Yeah. In Germany, are people allowed to strike? Are labor unions allowed to strike in Germany, or no?
It depends what their law says. I think they are doing it. They have it. They're doing it.
Oh,
but
no.
But in their laws, they can do it.
I see. Because that really disrupts a lot of things.
They do it normally. They normally do it because of when they request something that they don't have. They normally do their strikes. But for me as an individual, I'm not into those things, because I have people. Sometimes when I say I wanted to go to a place, I have people who are even driving me to go where I wanted to go.
Right. Yeah, that's good. I mean, now in Germany, is there like a localized version of Uber? Do you use like an Uber app to get around too?
No, yeah, it happens in the big cities. It's there. It's there.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, good. So what are some other European connections you've made, and what are some other European countries you want to go to?
My next destination, I would love to be in Italy, because I have a lot of fans in Italy, and then I would love to go to Denmark, Sweden, Norway, France. But my biggest target is to be in New York one day.
I am 100% sure you're going to get to New York one day. Yeah. And
but coming also in New York, I want to be on a stage, not to only visit. I wanted to perform in New York. This is my plan.
I'm sure that you will. I'm sure that you will have that experience. Given everything that you've accomplished thus far, I have no doubt that you'll perform in New York City for sure. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah,
that would be great.
It doesn't surprise me that you have a lot of fans in Italy. Reason I say it is because it's very well known that there are many immigrants from Africa that are trying to get into. There are a lot of Africans in Italy. And so probably a lot of Gambians and a lot of people from Western Africa would appreciate your music. So actually,
it doesn't matter. Even I have all over the world. I have fans all over. Even in China, I have fans. The thing is, it depends on what you are doing. So in England, I have a lot of fans. In Northern Ireland, also I have a lot of fans. In Poland, all those places. Music, you have to do the music to educate the people. Being a visual impaired person, tell the people the story, and then the people will understand what you're saying. So I have fans all over the world.
Yeah, that's so good. How did your music get all the way into China? Because that's a very hard country to get information into and out of. So how did your music
Yeah,
get all the
this
way
is
into
it. I have
China?
my Facebook page. I have a
Mhm.
Facebook page. I have a lot of followers from that end, also from my Facebook, because sometimes I do my live on my Facebook with my music, and then people love it.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah, the live software on Facebook is very powerful. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, really, really, really excellent. Yeah. So what are some other songs that you're working on and some other music that you want to put together at some point?
Yeah, right now I have three songs that are coming out, love songs, produced by Karaba Production. We are working on them right now. Maybe before end of this year, Karaba Production will release them. Maybe before end of this year, and then one of them will be a bigger song because of it's a how to say it? It's a reggae song, and then the other one also is a reggae song. They are all love songs, and then big songs. You understand? And then the first one is a ska reggae ska.
Wow. Well, that is that's really all really excellent. All right. Well, we do have our friend from South Africa. Do you mind if I let him open his microphone, because I know that
Yeah, let him come. Let him come, my brother from South Africa. Well,
Okay, let's go South Africa. Open that microphone over there, Latabo. Let's open up that microphone. And of course, his name is Latabo. He joins us from South Africa. So what questions do you have for Aziz? Go.
Okay, let me just
Yeah, and come, like I say, come closer to your microphone, please. But yes, go ahead.
Okay. Like, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe I heard
I know you.
you. I think I think I've heard. Well,
Young Lion.
yeah.
Yeah, man. You're welcome, brother.
Yeah, man. I think I've heard you on UVC, right? I think on Vision Scope, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. That was when he was on Tell It Like It Is, and then Mr. Wilbert.
Yes,
and then Mr. Wilbert put it up on Vision Scope. Exactly.
Yes. Because I listened to it, I think on Tuesday. But the thing is, what I want to know is what type of music does he do? Because well, for me, for me, I want to promote people's music actually, starting from this month till onwards.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
the type of music I am doing, at this moment, I'm doing reggae music. Reggae music is what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah, but being a musician, I don't specialize in one genre of music, because I have some African songs that I also made. This is my own traditional music in the Gambia.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if I could ask you a second question, like what type of when did you start like your music career or your music journey?
My music career, I started doing music from the day that I lost my sight, because music was the only way out for me, being a visual impaired person in my society.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. That's quite interesting, because I found out that like I didn't know about you that much, but just to get to know you through music and through like how you portray your music. I mean, it's quite fascinating.
Thank you.
But for me, yeah, because if you didn't know about me, well, I am a broadcaster myself. I started a year ago, to be precise. So that's why I'm saying I'm going to be promoting people's music, especially like from this month onwards, so that I can people can hear who is listening, who's not, and then what feedback are they getting, or you are getting through people when it comes to your music as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can tell him, so Latabo, you can tell Aziz about your radio station, because you have a radio station that you probably want to interview him on. You have your own station down there in South Africa. Tell him about that. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Well, Aziz, if you don't mind, do you know of a radio station called Zollyhood Radio?
Come again?
Zollyhood Radio or Zollyhood.
Zollyhood. Zollywood.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just hearing.
Yes.
I think it's family in my head, but I'm just hearing this name.
Uh-huh.
But it's a beautiful name.
Yeah, so that's where I'm working at. It's a company where obviously we do have a radio station. Also, we have music department, and we also have the acting department. So I'm working in both departments, which is the acting department and the broadcasting department. On the so that's why I was asking you if one time if maybe I could hook you up maybe to interview you maybe sometime Saturday.
Yeah, it is. It's brother. I am an African. I am a
Sure.
musician. I am owned
Yeah.
by the people. Wherever the people need me, I'm gonna be there. You understand?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I had to like talk to you while on this platform. On this very platform.
You know. To tell you one thing, my mission
Sure.
is to sensitize the people. Being a visual impaired person.
Sure.
Even my African people should know what we are
Mm.
doing. To let them know that being a visual impaired person, we have a lot
Sure.
of things that we can do, a lot of things that we can share with them.
Exactly.
You know, side
Mm.
by side, we're working together to make it happen.
Sure.
I am ready for it.
Yeah, and yeah, actually, yeah, those are the questions that I have. But though, well, I have a comment for you because I mean, I haven't heard your music, but your story is relatively inspiring. Well, like I
Thank
love
you.
listening to people's stories. That's one thing
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, because no, my pleasure. And the thing is, like hearing people's stories, I mean, it motivates me quite a lot because I mean, like I met someone who owns a I think she's a coach, I think from Malaysia. So I was like thinking like, yo, like how could we support people who are blind, especially who has businesses or who has companies actually and working maybe in those companies, you know, just to support them in some sort of way. So that's why I just took it up to myself that like, look, let me just do this. Let me just support fellow musicians and also DJs, you know? Yeah, because this initiative I started last year, but I didn't start it like as planned. So I just started this year when I came back on radio.
This is a good idea, brother. You know, supporting, you know,
sure.
people, you know, you give them the fish. Giving them the fish every time is not good, but show them how to catch the fish. You understand?
Sure.
You give them the fish every time, they will come back. But when you show them how to catch the fish, they will go and catch it.
Right.
So,
that's being
a
the
DJ,
proverb, exactly.
Being a DJ or being a promoter, promote them. One time they'll become big. They will never forget about the people who promote their music. They will never forget about the people who bring them there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because obviously, why I'm saying this is because I want to play people's music on both radio stations, which is UVC Radio and Zollywood Radio. So obviously that's where I want to play it so that people should know who it is, and then I should know that okay. But usually I'm a hip hop DJ. But well, playing reggae, it's fine because obviously I can also juggle. Yeah, I can juggle through that. I can play. Yeah, I can play any kind of music. So yeah, that's one thing I can say on that. You know. Yeah,
it's nice. It's good. I'm in for it, you know. Together we are strong, man, brother.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and I was wondering too, Aziz, you know, one of the most, well, everything has a lot of power, but you know, this is also, you know, we're here in this live TV show setting right here, but the audio feed will actually become a podcast, as you know, on Spotify and Apple and iHeart and all those places. And I was wondering, Aziz, is it possible for you to send me an MP3 file of one of your you know, mixed and mastered songs that I can actually, you know, put into the podcast here when we go back and listen? That's one thing that I think would be really cool if I could actually add your song into my podcast on this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that. I will do that. You will definitely have my songs. You will definitely have one or two of my songs.
Yeah, well, all I need is your the song that you love the most, or your most beautiful song. If I have it in, specifically speaking, if I have it in MP3 format, then I can easily interject it into the editor on the podcast, and then before and after the episode they can hear the beautiful song, and that would be really powerful for people. So it's another great way to get your voice out there and things like that. So
why not?
Yeah. So nowadays, so how long have you been living in Germany up till now? Like, how long have you been living there in Germany?
I've been in Germany for 4 years now.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. And do you ever plan to go back to Gambia? Have you ever thought about going back to visit your country?
That's a fact. No matter how long the stick stay in the river, it cannot be a crocodile. So the thing is,
that's cute. That's people from Gambia and people from your continent have very cute expressions about expressing themselves. Yeah.
But the thing is, going and coming is what I wanted to do. Taking my culture, bringing it here, taking the culture from here, taking it to there. So this is my plan. And then I want to have a place whereby I will take my fellow visual impaired people from Germany, bringing them to the Gambia, taking the ones from the Gambia, bringing exchange visit. This is what I want to see, blind people seeing each other, meeting each other, discussing about things, helping each other, side by side. This is what I want to see in my life.
Excellent. So good. Yeah. What do you think about that, Latabo?
No, I think that's a great idea, because hearing this, I can really say that it's a great idea, and obviously we should form a forum or a group where we can also discuss ideas on how to promote each other's work, Or
that's why there's the Facebook group, Aaron's Opinion Podcasting Community. So so Aziz, you should join my Facebook group, and then you can share your music there. And then there's this other guy in the group named Dustin, and he loves to promote stuff and share stuff for sure. Yeah.
I will look into the Facebook. Send me the Facebook link, because I have to follow, because of my Facebook page is already full, so I have to follow it. So you will send me the link, and I'll
absolutely. No, we'll catch up later today. I'll catch up with you over WhatsApp. But by the way, just for food for thought, I was never able to actually find your Facebook page. So if you could send me, when you type up the description for the episode, please put at the bottom of your description all of your social media links, your professional pages, and then I would be able to follow them certainly on Facebook and give you a like. That's so important for you to have a like and a rating. So, but I would need to see the page, so I couldn't find it. So please do send me. I tell people, when you write a description, write 5 sentences about who you are, and then at the bottom put your Facebook links and all that. And then
I will.
You would be surprised. A good description for an episode that actually holds a lot of value. Some people are very odd about that on YouTube. Some people say, well, actually, before I watch, let me open the card and see if I can even find the page behind the person before I even listen to it. Some people are interesting about that. Another thing that I want to know about is, if your music is all over the world, who and how are you tracking your analytics, of how all of your music is performing? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, my music basically is always about issues about the society, and then the way the people are living with people, sometimes the discriminations that we are facing, and then sometimes when it comes to political affiliations that we are passing through or we are going through, these are the things. And then I'm always straight to the point, because as a musician, you have to the word that you portray should be realistic, and then the truth should be coming out for the people to realize this is what is happening. So I have a lot of youths that are listening to my conscious message that I'm giving them, to realize that this is what is happening in their communities. This is what is happening in their societies. When it comes to love, also sometimes I sing love songs for the lovers. Sometimes, when you become a visual impaired person, it's very difficult for you to be having a lover who is honest or something like that. Sometimes I put my songs into that directions to let the people know that being a visual impaired person does not mean that you have to take an advantage on them.
Absolutely. Wow. But what I ask though is, maybe you didn't quite understand the question, but the question is, so looking at analytics, where you can see your downloads and your plays for each song, how do you track your analytics behind your music? In other words, knowing how many plays it had, how many downloads each song had, what platforms are playing it. How do you track that, given that your music is playing in so many countries?
I have this production that I'm working with right now. They are tracking all what is happening on my songs, because at this next level of my EP, they have to register me under the system of Germany, which is the GEMA, that their music association, whereby everything that is played from my music will be going direct to that organization.
Very good. Yeah, that's extremely important.
Well. They know it very well where my songs are played. They know it very well because I'm working with them. They are also helping on that side.
Right. Absolutely. And that's very important that you get that set up, the right way the first time, filling out all the forms and getting that set up the right way the first time, because many artists all over the United States have these songs and, they don't set it up right, and then they don't get the credit they deserve, or someone else steals the song. I mean, that's a big problem in the States, is this whole notion of copyright this, copyright that.
That's true.
Luckily in Germany, there are more, very high standards. So you're very, very fortunate. Yeah.
This is it, and this
true.
is why sometimes I have some couple of calls, people calling me from other side of the world, calling me and telling, okay, can you please tell me what type of language are you singing? What does this and that mean? And I know their directions. You can't fool me telling me, okay, can you write it? I say, okay, why should I write it? This is my own language, and I know when I write it for you, I know what is your stand for. What do you want to do? But I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that most people, in the United States, and I'm a little bit unusual because I've traveled. I've actually been to Eswatini, by the way. I've been to Swaziland in Africa, but yeah. But most Americans have never been to Africa, and most Americans have never met anyone from the continent. I've done both. So I kind of have an understanding of, what it must be like in some regards, but also most American people and people from Europe, like we never hear these beautiful languages that you grew up speaking. So sometimes they're asking because they want to take advantage of you. Other times they're asking because some people, and I know it is a little bothersome to both you and Latabo, but sometimes when us American folks, when we ask you, hey, what are those words in that language? We aren't asking because we're demeaning your language. We're asking because it's beautiful, and we're curious. Some people are just curious about it. Yeah.
The reason why, the person that who wanted to know what you're talking about is different from the person who wanted to make what you are talking about.
Exactly. Precisely.
You understand? So as a musician, as a musician, the person who wanted to know what you're talking about, and the person also who wanted to do what you're talking about.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. Latabo, do you ever face that? Do people ever come up to you and ask you strange questions about your productions and what you do? What do you think?
Well, the thing is, like, for me, usually it doesn't happen that way, because usually people will come and there was this other group, if I remember correctly, that I'm in. There's this other lady just asked me, like, okay, what type of language do you like speak? And I told her, like, look, because when I was born, obviously, like, I couldn't speak all languages, so I had to adapt. So I told her, like, look, like, I can only speak English and South Soto, so like I speak that. But when it comes to Zulu, it's a different story. So for me, it's something that I can really speak. So that's one thing I can say. But also Afrikaans, I speak it, but occasionally, not always. So because that language, I've learned it from school. That was back in 2009, when I was in 4th grade, until I have done 9th grade in 2014, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I still learn that language even now, but some words are kind of like lost in my mind.
It's
So
very tertiary. It's very tertiary for you. It's in the
Yeah.
back of your brain, and if you wanted to speak Afrikaans badly enough, you could if you needed to, but it's not. Yeah. How much? And I've never asked you, Latabo, in South African society, how much like testing? How many different tests do you have to pass for different how much fluency do you need in these languages in South Africa to get through schooling? Like, how strict are they about being fluent in certain languages? Yeah.
Well, it depends. It depends because like we have I won't say location. I would say township schools like they have different languages, which is Zulu, Spedi, Tswana, Chitsonga, Shivenda, and other languages. So those they have their own syllables, but when it comes to English and Afrikaans, they have their own schools. So I've attended like two, because the other one I attended back in, I think, what was it? Back in what, 2005, if not mistaken, 2004, 2005, somewhere there. That's when I started my school year. So I started with English because that was my first primary language. And then obviously it was like progressively getting better. And then obviously when you get to another school, obviously you would be introduced to like another language like Afrikaans, because Afrikaans obviously it's more stricter than English, because English you have to learn like nursery rhymes, you have to learn what you call like how to make sentences and all that stuff. But in Afrikaans it's the same, but it's totally different. Because it's the difference is because it's related to Dutch, right? So like when you do Afrikaans, it's more of like you have to learn the spellings of each word. Like say for example, if I say goeiemiddag, which is good afternoon. So obviously that one we have to like spell it. You know, like queer, it's like GOE, then IE. So it's nearly the same as like good, but it's in a different spelling. So because like when you type it out on your laptop or on your phone, then it gives a red error, says it doesn't recognize the word. You know, so sometimes it becomes a bit awkward when it comes to that. But coming to like the different tests, it differs with every language that you choose from the school that you are attending.
Yeah, that's extremely interesting. Yeah, and so and what can you speak to the school in Gambia? Like what do you remember needing to learn in Gambia when you were growing up?
In Gambia, definitely we are learning English, French, Arabic. This is what they are learning in Gambia. But my own language, the local language, we don't learn them. We've grown up with them.
Oh,
right. Yeah, just by listening to your parents, just your family language, right?
Because of you know, when I go to my next door neighbor, when I speak their language, they know he can speak it. When I go to the other side, I can speak the other one. My own language, I can speak it. This is how it goes in my own community.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Yeah, cool. Super cool.
It's just like when I speak Fula sometimes, so people say, oh, how can he speak very good Fula? Is he a Fula? Next time I speak Mandinka, they say, oh, okay. He can speak more than Mandinka, more than Fula.
And then you do realize that one day I'm going to expect you to have a full interview with me in French, because you know that I love speaking French. So one of these days you're going to
très bien. Très bien. Yeah. So when I say, this is it, French. I would love to speak because it's not far from me. Where I live in France, it's just like 1 hour by car.
Yeah.
I'm not far from France, and I'm also a neighbor to Switzerland. 20 minutes by walk to Switzerland. Yeah. So they're also speaking French. So
that's true.
One day.
Absolutely. No, French is extremely difficult. You would find that to be able to speak fully and have a conversation, it's very difficult, just like any other language.
I love when they say the term. Mon ami is the thing.
You got it. You got it. Yeah. Every language has those beautiful little expressions. Well, so Aziz, I'm sure, I'm positive that you have some questions that you really want to get off your chest and ask Aaron Richmond. So what are some deep questions that you have for me? As I like to say, if you can ask me only one question to make me sweat, to see if I'm worth my salt as a podcaster, what do you want to ask me?
My question, sorry to give this one, but the thing is, I have my fellow visual impaired brothers in New York, in America. What are the conditions, and then what are the preparations, and what is the unity? What is the formation that my brothers and sisters that are visual impaired in America forming up to see that the other side of the world, the visual impaired people that are living there, what are you doing to connect the people together as one, under one umbrella? Because of before, it used to be big festivals whereby all blind people come together, but why is it not happening now?
Here's the thing. In America, when you grow up in American society, you don't learn about having these types of meaningful conversations that we have. You basically, in America, you're extremely isolated for most of your life. You are oftentimes impacted tremendously by your family. Your life kind of revolves, when you grow up in America, your life revolves around schooling until you're like 25 years old. And then after you manage to graduate from a university in your 20s, then you start to, experience things and start to get out more. What I'm telling you is, in America, you grow up very slowly, you mature very slowly. Everything is a much slower progression. There are organizations that advocate for blind people, and they are great, but they also have many challenges. So many blind people are suffering. Even in America, there are many problems, even in the United States. Go ahead, Latabo. Yeah.
No, as I wanted to say, like, also, like, as you said, like, obviously everything grows in slow pace, like, as you said.
Right. Yeah. Whereas if you grow up there in South Africa or Gambia, you have to grow up much faster. I think you're expected to mature at a much faster rate, So that's the difference. Yeah, definitely. Other questions here. Other questions, maybe Latabo, if you have a final question that you want to ask, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, okay. So
you were talking to me, yeah?
No, I was just asking Latabo if Latabo wants to ask a final question.
All right.
Yeah. I wanted to ask Aziz. Well, obviously I know him from a group called Ecstatic Music. So, well, I just want to ask, like, musically, right? Like, I don't know what to ask, but maybe I'll just start here. Okay, since I heard you talking about your EP, like, how do you distribute your songs or your entire music?
Yeah, this EP that I'm working on right now, there's a production that are working on those things, distribution and all those stuff. They are the one who gonna work on that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they have their platforms, and then this is it's all about Germany, because I'll be playing in some concert also to promote those songs. Whenever I'm ready, I will get back to you people. You will hear those type of the things that I am up to.
Excellent. Yeah, and the one thing I would request you, what you can send me your recently released songs via document folder or a document on WhatsApp. Then I'll just put them on my playlist, because I'll be having a show later on, so I just want to play them as well.
No problem. I will send you some couple of songs. I will send them to you. Yeah. And then I'm so happy also to hear you, man. So happy.
Yeah. Same here, man. Same here.
South Africa is one of the destiny that I would like to be one day. South Africa is a lovely place.
People, I would say, people obviously they would say that they want to come to South Africa, and which is a perfect destination for people, especially when it comes to Americans. I don't want to say in a bad way, but though in a good way, because obviously talking to people on WhatsApp, they would say that, well, one day I want to come to South Africa, I want to experience South Africa and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, maybe one day you
but the
have
thing
to
is,
hook me up.
let me tell you one thing. But the thing is,
Sure.
people want to come, but when you are coming, you will you have to find something, because of my fellow brothers that are in South Africa. You are very powerful there. You can create things. You can create a festival whereby blind musicians can come and perform. But just come in, visiting, and we have to share ideas, exchange things that we have in our head. You understand?
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
So what are the plans for you in South Africa? Are you planning something for the visually impaired people, for people to come there and showcase their talents?
No, not yet. Not yet, but because not yet. No, that one I have to talk with the management of Zalhood, because already we've been having people, or if you want to send your stuff, you can do that. I'll send you the email so you can submit your music,
No problem.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll send you the stuff, and then I'll send you the music, and then you have to say what type of music it is, and then everything will be according to plan.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome, guys. So Aziz, as we wrap up today, just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Again, thank you. Huge shout out. Thank you to King Rocco HD and UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Shout out to him for making this connection. I don't do this I don't ask for connections all the time, but when I do, it's because it's someone really amazing like Aziz.
Yeah.
Aziz, if someone
Before
wants to
leave, I go like this. Mimi fokiti kagira yondo, gira mohabatala yo, gira moyenna tala. Mimi fokiti kagira yondo, gira mohabatala yo, gira moyenna tala. Mi wala to mirano tako, holelandeya, wala to mirano tako, holelan seya, mohirima odaina tama, hirankaranko daine, jamo ala giradano tako, gente yo faive. Yo, I'm out.
Oh my God, I love. Wait a minute. You aren't getting out there. I loved that. That was so beautiful and so adorable and so magical sounding. That was adorable. That was so perfect. Oh, that was just so touching. So if someone wants to get in touch with Aziz, how do they do it? How do people get in contact?
Yeah. They can check. They can check me on my Instagram. They can check me on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. They can check Aziz VI.
Okay, so please click on the link in the description, and please remember to send all of the social media links at the bottom of the description, that people will just follow there. All right.
All right.
Awesome episode, Aziz. Keep singing. Keep up your great work. All right.
Thank you.
Let's end the audio. Go ahead, Latapo.
Help one person today, help a million tomorrow.
Thanks so much, everyone. And if you're still watching on YouTube, thanks for joining us today. Like it if you like the video. Dislike it, as Dustin Lindbergh likes to say, to help it move up in the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on all bell notifications to know when we go live next. In just a few minutes, we'll actually upload the next episode of Aaron's Opinion right here on the channel for those of you watching. So stay tuned right here on the channel, just a couple more minutes. All right, everyone. Great discussion. Follow Aziz on his platforms. Keep singing, keep loving his music, and keep doing a great job. All right. Okay, Aziz, we'll catch up on WhatsApp later today. I'll get back to you today with more info.